Welcome to Dharma Astrology. Join me on this journey to understand and continue to learn from my transit series and how the cosmos and its energies affect us. Join me at zedamastrology.com or drop me a line at zeta55@outlook.com. Okay, let us see what the tarot spread is going to bring for us to enhance the reading of the transit series. And for those who have subscribed to my channel, who follow my videos, would know that in the tarot series I've explained why I have aligned the tarot spreads with the transits, because you can't do a transit every two. There's the Princess of Swords that have jumped out, and the Princess of Swords is the Page of Swords, but in this deck it's named the Princess. And as I was saying, the transit series, to enhance the reading, I have added the tarot cards, because when we go back into the history of the Ganifa cards, we see that those are aligned to the tarot and what we know as the tarot this time, so that at the end of the day, tarot and Vedic go hand in hand, and I have aligned them for better reading. And here we have the first card is the Devil card. So that is the premise, that is the foundation. Then we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is the second card. The third card we have is the Nine of Wands. Interesting. Then we have followed the Nine of Wands followed by the Nine of Cups. Double nine is usually major gains. Then we have the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups followed by the Five of Swords. So double five here, personal issues. Then we have the Star. And then we have the World. Two external forces there. Then we have the Princess of Cups. So we have the Princess of Swords and the Princess of Cups. Then we have the Knight of Wands. So this is the tetractys spread that will enable us some clarity, some further understanding of the transit. And I talk to you about the transit because remember, Saturn moves every 2.5 years. Ketu and Rahu just moved, and they will not move again in 18 months. Then we have the Sun, Venus, Mars, Mercury moving once every month. Then Jupiter once every 12 months. And the card we have here, the Graha, is Venus. And going back to what I was saying, that if you don't have the movement of the cards continuously or every 2.5 days like the moon, then we are not going to get a different reading. You're going to have to say the same thing. You're going to have to find ways in which to turn. Okay, and I find something wrong. See, I knew the intuition is there. Knew that I didn't have the full deck, but full deck of cards. So that here we have water as the element, and water is the element for this period. So that when you don't have movements of or transit of the grahas every week, then you're going to get the same thing over and over again, and how boring is that? So that I did my research and I understood that the Ganifa cards are the root of the tarot cards from long time ago in the Muslim and Arab world into the Hindi world and Vedic world. And here we have in the Bhava is the 10th Bhava, the 10th house. So that is where we're going now, and we're going to get the chakra wisdom. So that I was telling you that the the research gave me the alignment, gave me the marriage, gave me the history of the tarot that came in from the world of the Asian world and the Arabic world, and it all started with the Ganifa cards. If anybody has anything further than that, then let me know. But this is my research, so that I feel very comfortable in marrying the Vedic astrology and the tarot cards to give me that extra meaning, that in-depth meaning, that correlation or collaboration that will give us and guide us with the periods that we are dealing with. And the wisdom chakra card that we have for this period is Quest. So we are probably on a journey or in a search of something. And what are we in search of? Our cards, our transit, when I do the analysis of the transit will tell us, but these cards will enhance that meaning. It will give us a further insight. It will give us, perception, intuition will work. So we'll see how that going. And right now I'm trying to give you the deity that is going to guide us, and let's see what that deity is and who that deity will be to give us the energies and for us to understand probably where we need to throw our minds, throw our thoughts, for us to move forward, for us to give us some kind of insight into where we need to be and what we need to do for this period beginning May 21st, 2022. And the card, the deity that we have here, it's a new one. This is Lord Ardhanarishwar, and Lord Ardhanarishwar is one of the avatars of Lord Shiva and goddess Parvati. It is half man, half woman. The equity in this needs to be looked at. So let's see what it's going to bring us. Let's see what we can have with this. Okay, at Dharma Astrology, you know that I do things differently in regard to the transit of the analysis of the grahas or the planets. And I do things differently because of the movement of the planets, where they move either monthly or annually, or like Saturn every 2.5 years. And one of the reasons is that I don't want to give you a routine or boring or just say the same thing over and over again. And I have utilized the union of tarot and Vedic astrology as a method for my analysis in Patra Kundali reading and analysis at Dharma Astrology. And this is just a visual for you to understand a little bit of what I'm doing. This is a Kundali or birth chart taken of somebody who's born on May 17th, 1945. And this is their natal chart. And the natal chart shows the ascendant in Leo with Jupiter. So the ascendant in Leo immediately denotes that Leo becomes the first bhava, the first house, the house about you and yourself. Then we have Ketu here in Sagittarius, which is the 5th house. Then we go to Venus and Mars in Jupiter, Mercury in Aries, Sun in Taurus, Rahu and Saturn in Gemini, Moon in Cancer. So you go clockwise in this chart. And this is your natal chart. This is a chart that you cannot change because this is your date and time of birth, predestined for you. This is your fate. This is your lineage. This is your bloodline. This is your ancestor. And with it comes karma from the past life, deeds that were left undone. And it presents itself here for you as your soul's mission. What is it you came on this earth to do on May 17th, 1945? So this is your natal chart, right? And if I don't have your natal chart, then I don't know where your ascendant is, what is your first house, and where the planets are posited for you. And then we come to the transit of the grahas, which is what I do for you on this bi-weekly basis. And this transit, these grahas placement are just arbitrary, it's just to give you a visual. And let's just say that this transit grahas on the day that I'm doing this video on the 17th, that the transit of the grahas reads as how these are. We find Mars in Virgo. Mars is in Virgo. Venus is in Libra. Sun is in Sagittarius, and so forth, so on, so that you see the difference to the natal placement. And when we do transits, transit comes secondary to your dasha. And for the Vedic persons who are aware of what that is, it's just a cycle of life for others. It's a cycle of life that tells you this is the planet or graha that is the main person for you in this period of life. And each graha has a different timeline. So that if I don't even know your Mahadasha, then it makes it even more difficult for me to target you specifically or personally for the transit. This is why I don't do daily horoscopes, and this is why the transit of the grahas in my videos are just generic. It's general. It tells you what the planet is going to give out for that period on that sign. It doesn't speak about the houses. You know, this might be the potential energy for this planet based on its aspects or its placement in the zodiac. It has nothing to do with the bhavas or you specifically, because I don't have your natal chart. So that your natal chart is the foundation for you. You know, it is the foundation that we as astrologers must have for these readings to be targeted to you. So if something resonates in these transits for you and you want to know further about you specifically, then you need to request a chart from Zidam Astrology for us to give you that analysis specific to you. So this is the natal and transit, and then I deal with, well, this is just another visual of the zodiac signs, and I put this up here because then I deal with the Dharma Trikona in my tarot readings. And the Dharma Trikona really deals with the fire, earth, air and water trines, and the Dharma Trikona is your 1st, 5th and 9th house. So in this chart here that we are seeing, in this chart we have the ascendant here in Leo. So Leo becomes your 1st house. Leo being your 1st house, it would mean Sagittarius is your 5th house, Aries is your 9th house. So this is the Dharma Trikona for the fire trine when Leo is your 1st house. If Aries was your 1st house, then Aries will be 1, Leo will be 5 and Sagittarius will be 9. Now with Dharma Trikona, I use the Dharma Trikona because Dharma Trikona is the spiritual angle of your of the aspects of your soul. You know, your 1st house is your soul's mission. The 5th house is the accumulated merit from past lives, whether it's good or bad, and that's Punya Purva, as we say in Vedic astrology. And the 9th house is the manifestation of past karma, so that you have those things coming forth in this life for you. And the tradition holds that your dharma is the primary aim of your human life, in this janam. Since your Dharma Trikona gives you the foundation which you develop wisdom and your discretion to pursue the other 3 Trikonas that we find in Vedic astrology. And those Trikonas are the Artha Trikona, the Kama Trikona and the Moksha Trikona. And the houses here, the Artha Trikona starts with house number 2, then it goes to 6 and 10. Kama starts with 3 and Moksha starts with 4, and it's all 159 apart but starts at these houses. So your Artha Trikona here for this Kundali that is up here, the 2nd house here is Virgo. So Virgo is going to be your 2nd house, and then the 6th house and the 10th house will create that Artha Trikona, which is wealth, Kama Trikona, which is happiness, and Moksha Trikona, which is liberation. But I don't deal with those specifically in my tarot reading because I focus on the Dharma Trikona because that's your foundation and it's the primary aim of the Purusha Shata or the zodiac signs in Hindi religion. And then, you know, as we look at the tarot deck, we see wands, pentacles, swords and cups, and these relate to fire, earth, air and water. So that we have the fire, earth, air and water in the tarot deck. We have the fire, earth, air and water trines in the Dharma Trikona and in the 3 other Trikonas that I showed you. But this is where it comes together. This is the commonality. This is where I feel comfortable in using it. And wands is aligned to clubs, pentacles and earth is aligned to diamonds, sword is aligned to spades, and cups is aligned to hearts, in the normal plane deck. And as I said, this is fire, earth, air and water, and this is the source code of astrology. So that the source code of astrology is also found in the tarot deck. And when we use the source code of astrology as a blueprint of our soul, we become architects of our destiny. And remember, destiny can be changed when we use courage, willpower, compassion, choice. Fate we cannot change, because fate is our natal placement of the chart. We cannot change our birth date, we cannot change our birth time, we cannot change where we were born on this date and time. But we can change destiny through our actions and choices. And therefore we become the architects of our destiny by using this blueprint of fire, earth, air and water of our soul. So this is, the timeline that I'm giving you. This is the little explanation. And as Zidam Astrology is doing things differently, I feel it is incumbent upon me to give you an explanation for you to understand what I do, why I do it, and how I do it. So that I hope this resonates with you. I hope you understand what I mean when I say what I said here, and that my communication was clear. If you should have a question on anything, I am always open to discussion and learning. I have a wealth of knowledge that I have researched, but there is always more to learn. So feel free to send me a line, to comment on my blog, to comment on my channel, and share, sign up and subscribe. The transit of the grahas begins on May 21st for the period that I'm dealing with for you. And the transit of the grahas, I will mention again, as you recall, that the transits are always secondary to the Mahadasha. So that for me to target this transit to you, I need to know the Mahadasha from the natal placements of your planet. This chart gives the transit of the grahas where they are placed on May 21st. And transit, as we know, are calculated from the moon and the ascendant. When we calculate it from the moon, it is all about your mental and emotional influence. When we calculate it from the ascendant, it may impact you more physically. And here we have, for the transit for this period beginning May 21st, 2022 to June 3rd, 2022, we have Rahu in Aries, Jupiter, Venus and Mars in Pisces, Saturn in Aquarius, Moon in Sagittarius, Ketu in Libra, Sun, Mercury and the Ascendant in Taurus. The movement from the last period is that Mars has moved away from Saturn and then Sun has moved away from Rahu. But starting this period, we have Mercury combust and also retrograde. And this is not new to you, because I have spoken about Mercury retrograde, where you have not memory loss really, but you don't think things through, you don't remember a lot of things because your mind is not thinking properly. And that is when Mercury is combust. Sun is illuminating Mercury so much that you lose your train of thought, and Sun is sitting on top of Mercury at this point in time, because they are both at 6 degrees Taurus. And Mercury is also retrograde, which gives us misunderstandings and problems in communication and transportation. And at this time, as astrologers, we kind of advise you, when Mercury is retrograde, don't try to begin any new projects, don't buy new items, do not sign contracts. It's an excellent time for you to plan, for you to research, and for you to prepare for the long term or something that will happen later. And Jupiter and Mars here is in Pisces. Jupiter is in fact in his own home. Venus is exalted in Pisces, but Venus is fast approaching the Gandanta zone to cross into Aries. And then we have Neptune here, and then we have Rahu in Aries, and Rahu and Ketu just move. So this placement of Rahu in Aries and Ketu in Libra, it's not going to change for another year and a half. Saturn is here in Aquarius at 0 degrees, but Saturn is going to retrograde in Capricorn around July, and then come back into Aquarius at the end of the year, and then not move for a further 2.5 years. So that you see that you will get the same placement of Saturn and Rahu and Ketu. Also, Jupiter has recently moved into Pisces, so Jupiter is going to remain in Pisces for an entire year. And this is why I enhance these readings with my tarot spread, to give you a perspective or a clarity or clarification. But you know, as Saturn remains in Aquarius, Saturn is in one of the most rebellious and social zodiac signs right now, and that is Aquarius. And Aquarius is all about the social network, the social structures, group involvements, and communities. You know, that is what Saturn in Aquarius is all about. And then we have where, you know, that sometimes with Saturn in Aquarius, your interpersonal skills are a little bit lacking. You are not part of the group, because the Aquarius is all about the social networks, your networking, your groups, you know, your community. But Saturn is all about hard work. And when we think about groups, we don't think about focused work groups. We think about social groups, you know, having fun, playing games, going to the movies together, going to the theater, having a picnic. Saturn is not about that. Saturn is about work and productivity and discipline, and going steady and slow towards his goals. So Saturn, you know, you may exude a level of superiority because your focus is on work and you feel that is the better thing than having fun and playing. But you know, it kind of separates you, and you distance yourself from others, which leaves you out of the clique or the cabal, you know, and as a result, others distance themselves from you. And then I want to deal with Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus in this analysis, because in Vedic astrology, when the Sanskrit texts were found and translations were done after, these planets were discovered after these sages completed their works, and they didn't really include Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus in Vedic astrology. But my thinking at Zedam Astrology is always that, you know, now in this year 2022, I know about Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, so why am I not going to use the information? God and Bhagwan has guided me into the research for me to understand these planets a little bit, and to make sure that I know about them. So what was the purpose of him giving me this information? Clearly, I have to use it to transfer that knowledge for people to learn from it, and for me also to understand better what I am telling you as a messenger. So that we have Pluto here in Capricorn, and Pluto in Capricorn deals with change, major transformations, you know. It's sudden events, because Pluto is the planet, the planet of power. Pluto is the planet where you find the god of the underworld, as we know it in Hades. You know that this is where Hades reside, and Pluto demands that you let go and move on in Capricorn. You know, Pluto is hardworking and ambitious, because you don't know where anything is coming from, because Pluto is all about the underworld, and you don't know what is happening there. We don't know that, you know, what is the environment, who are the players. We can always say that, you know, persons who don't do good deeds will go to hell or to Hades or in between that world, but we don't really know. And you know what we have with the energies and the research over the years is that Pluto is success and power oriented. Pluto wants you to be focused, you know, that and efficient. And this is a mutual hunger with Saturn, and who's in Capricorn, because Capricorn is also success oriented, maybe not power oriented, but Capricorn is power oriented. And because of the mutual hunger for results here, we find that we don't have compassion or empathy for others. We are not tolerant of people's views. You know, because we are so focused on tunnel vision, it puts us apart from the group, so that we are not very comfortable in this sphere, in this zodiac sign. And we have a negative view of people and institutions that are in a position of control. So Pluto really gives us a goal of transforming this social order to probably bring equity and becoming more aware of our shared humanity. And then we have Neptune, the god of the sea, or the planet of illusion. And Neptune is here in Pisces with Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. And Neptune is going to remain in Pisces for a little while. And Neptune brings deception. Neptune veils the reality of the material world, so that what we see is not the entire picture. It can have hidden depths. And remember, when we're dealing with the god of the sea, there are depths that we are not aware of. When you look through water in the river or in the sea, you see blurred obstacles. You might see rocks, you might see people, lost items, but you don't know what they are until you pick them up and pull them out of that water. So that is the blurred, or the veil that is forming a visual of non-reality, that we can't see really what is happening here. So that Jupiter may want to expand and bring good fortune. Mars may want to fight and in a softer way, because Pisces is a spiritual, kind of imaginative, intuitive sign. Venus may want to give you all the significations of the beauty, of the luxuries, of the pleasures, but it might all be behind the veil of reality, that is Neptune. And then we have Uranus, the planet of rebellion, god of the sky and heaven, and he sits in Aries with Rahu. And remember, Rahu is the great deceiver. Rahu is the head of the dragon. So a lot of strategies and thoughts are created by Rahu, but there is no implementation, because Rahu doesn't have a body in which to implement his strategies and thoughts. Rahu can only think big. He can think grandiose ideas. And the Uranus is a planet of rebellion. So this planet tends to shake the world with surprising events and individual breakthroughs. It helps us step into a time where we can find solutions to problems, or new problems can break out in a totally unexpected way. And Aries is the sign of creation and initiation or initiative, and Uranus brings sweeping reforms and scientific innovations in the zodiac signs that he posits. And right now it's in that Aries sign, in the creation and initiation, and he remains in Aries at this time. So this is the planets that are going to affect us. This is how they are going to affect us. And then let us enhance this or clarify this reading with the transit of with the tarot reading and the tarot spread that we chose in the previous videos in this video. And the first card that we have in this is the Devil, and the Devil is the foundation or the premise of this reading. And the Devil is all about choices, or you making the choice to be chained to the material world. And the Devil leads us to believe that we have no choices in life, that we are stuck where we are, that better the devil we know than the devil you don't. But he's constantly after material gain, and he rubs his hand in glee to attract many followers. But these are false promises and tempting officers, because his power is magnetic, and once he has you hooked and reeled in, then he shows his new colors. Then he pulls that chain to settle you to him, to tighten you to him. But if we look at the chains, currently the chains are loose. We can lose ourselves in this material focus, or we can loose ourselves from the train, from the restrictions. Don't be feeble in your protests and believe that the restrictions are there. You should have read the small print, as we say, before signing on the dotted lines. But the devil leaves us in the dark a lot of the times. Just like Neptune, he doesn't show us what is underneath. He doesn't show us the true picture. There's a veil over that reality, you know, and he proceeds to indoctrinate you with twisted propaganda, attitudes, and belief. So there might be somebody in your life right now who you look up to, or who might be coming into your life to give you false promises, to lead you on a path of material gain, but at what expense? And this is the devil card coming through as your premise, as your foundation. You know, the devil leads us to believe that we are trapped and that we have no options, that we are better off and life could be a lot more worse. So are you going to give this power of choice to the devil, or to this person who is going to lead you to material gains, and in a way that you might not like, or you may very well like it? It all depends on your natal chart. But you know, they may very well be miserable. You may very well be miserable that you are susceptible to this person coming into your life, this person who might incorporate a lot of the attitudes of the devil. This is not a physical, it may not even be physical, it might be mental. You might be reading things that would lead you into just focusing on material gains and not yourself. So then we have the next card here, is the Hierophant, and the Hierophant is all about the consequences of your action. And the consequences of your action is that you know, the Hierophant is all about tradition. The Hierophant is all about governance. It's all about doing things in a particular way, because that is how it has been done in previous times, so that, you know, don't rock the boat, as it were. And it is a card of organized religion and traditional establishments, such as education, schools of education, universities, governments, in cooperation. And it is a card that suggests that you may be giving your power away to someone else or a group of people. And what did we just say about the devil? The devil wants you to believe that you have no choice, that you are giving your power to the devil. In other words, you are giving your power of choice. To other words, you are trying to stick yourself in one tunnel vision way, rather than understanding that you do have choices, you do have support. Saturn is there in Aquarius with the social structures and social justice. You may have to work hard for it. It is a steady and slow climb, or moving out of that kind of depressive state, but it will happen. So that the devil is telling you that you don't have any choices, but the Hierophant is telling you that you are surrendering your power to this person or to a group of people. It is a card where you are blindly following what everyone else is doing. Because it's traditional, you are blindly following somebody. You are thinking outside the box, because Saturn is there in Aquarius, telling you that, you know, you can be a little innovative, you can be inventive, you can think about rocking the boat of militarizing and polarizing, but at the end of the day, you are following everybody else rather than accepting that you have worth. And you know, when people are born with Saturn in Aquarius, they always think beyond their time. They don't fit into their time, but they think beyond their time, and they feel that they are not part of the clique or the cabal. But it's only when you have a Saturn return, when you get older, because Saturn is all about the older persons, that you get sense that when we say that, you know, when you mature, you will understand with reason. And that is what Saturn brings to you, reason and logic. So that, you know, if you have Saturn returning in Aquarius for you in your natal chart, then this is the time that you would have learned your lesson, or Saturn would have been teaching you for the last 30 years that this is what you need to do to understand that you are worth something, that you are adding value to yourself and to others, so that to accept your worth, accept yourself. Because this Hierophant is all about checking it out for yourself. You know, it might be suggesting that you are even set in your ways, and that you need to look at other people's thought or listen to other people's thoughts and words, and that is Saturn. So the Hierophant and the devil are telling you again, Saturn in Aquarius comes with some baggage, but it is baggage that you understand, that it's baggage that you know why you have it, so that you may be behaving according to what others expect of you. And then we have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands here is telling us that what are we conflicted about? What are the cosmic forces guiding you? And you're a little bit guarded, you are expecting trouble, you are showing some backbone sometime you can. And this is the light forces. So the deities are telling you that don't be beaten yet, hold back the enemy. You have gone through a lot. You have gone through a lot of things. You may be caught off guard, but at the end of the day, you might be shocked and surprised by the origin of a lot of things. But this is not business that you thought you have finished or sorted out. It has never really gone away. This is the baggage that is coming to you with Saturn in Aquarius, so that there may be others involved, because Saturn is in Aquarius in the social network. So you are still guarded, and you are still with your back up against, you are defensive, because you know what these people have done to you. You know that you have never been allowed because you were thinking differently, and that's a conflict that you have, that while I might understand why my own actions have taken me out of the social network or left me isolated, I am still a little bit guarded, because that is how I have evolved over the past period, for me to bring this baggage with the Nine of Wands. And then we have the Nine of Cups, and the Nine of Cups is the card of where you need to be removed for what things are to be removed for you to move forward. It is the card of happiness, of success, so that you probably are enjoying or looking forward to wishes coming through, because the Nine of Cups is a wish card. It is traditionally known as the wish card, and this is the card that is holding the destroyer position, that what needs to be removed for you to move forward, what is happening with you. And this is all a mental thing, and your wishes might be too far removed from your reality. This is what this card is telling you, because if you have to remove your wishes, to have wishes is not a bad thing, but for it to be removed from reality is a bad thing, that you may be overextending yourself in terms of, now that you understand why you are not part of the clique, that it immediately is going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. It's going to take some time, and you need to tamper down your wishes or your dreams, and just reflect and review, because much effort have gone into you arriving on this day. You are satisfied with yourself and the outcome in terms of your reasoning, in terms of what you have accumulated. The devil is there giving you that material gain, but it seems that everything might be working in your favor, but that may not be the reality for you, because the Nine of Wands is in the destroyer position, what has to be removed. And then we have the Five of Cups, and just a little heads up, 2 nines following each other really gives you major gains. So it's telling me that, yeah, you are going to get success and material gains, because the premise here is the devil, which is all about material gains. So you are going to get some material gains, but it might be beyond or less than what you want in this period. And then we have the Five of Cups, which is in the sustainer position, which is what helps you, keeps a balanced life. And then we have the Five of Swords in the creator position, which gives you that, what it is you explore, what drives you in that new direction. So 2 fives means personal issues. Double 5, it is that personal issue. So the personal issues is what drives you and what sustains you. And what sustains you is that you have regret, you have remorse, you feel guilt. And probably the premise here is that you went about or thinking about going again towards this material gain in a manner that may trample on others, or that may not take into consideration what others feel, or what you have to do to others to gain that asset, or that worth, that material gain, as it were, you know. So that the Five of Cups tells you you're going to have regret, shame, and guilt, and your Five of Swords tells you that, you know, you might become a bully, you might be battle weary, you might say, you know, oh, whatever, I am tired of this, you know, it's non-negotiable, I am tired of being in this battle, of being aggressive, that I need a rest now. So that you are weary, but you realize that being weary and battle weary and surrendering and walking away brings a personal issue of regret to you, you know, that this is what these two fives are telling us, that you regret some actions that have brought you these material gains. And then we have the material world with the star coming through here, and the star is coping with everyday life. You have hope, you have inspiration, you have faith, but it's a time of healing, it's a time of rejuvenation, it's a time of renewal, so that you are coping with everyday life by delving into the spiritual world that you probably put on aside when you were going after the material gain, because the material gain world is aligned to the devil. The star is all about your deities, your spiritual guidance, your spiritual intervention, and probably you need to revisit your faith and, you know, your God, your Bhagwan, and have a chat with him, you know, have a little dialogue with him and understand your inner self and come to terms with your inner beauty and your inner worth. That is what the star is telling you. And then we have the world as the card where you are exploring your emotions, where you are understanding the root cause of your issue. And the root cause of your issue comes from a sense of belonging, a sense of harmony, a sense of having everything right in your world, you know, a completion, a fulfillment. And you are exploring your emotion because that is what you want. But if you want completion and a sense of belonging, then the premise with the devil and your focus on material gains, it's not going to get you that completion and that harmony that you are seeking. And your strategies and thoughts comes from the Page of Cups, you know, and that's Jupiter. And Jupiter, remember, is sitting in Pisces with Venus and Mars, but with Neptune also, where the veil of illusion is there covering the reality. So your strategies and thoughts may not have particularly good guidance or teaching or research at this point in time. You know, you might have your head in the clouds, you might be a little innocent or idealistic about your strategies, about your thoughts in achieving this material gain. This is what the Page of Cups is telling you. And then we have the Knight of Wands, which is aligned to Mars, not the card, the position. And that position is the fire position, where you have your will and ambition, you know, you and your present situation. And you feel that you have to act, you feel that you have to do something. You want to be energetic, you want to be rebellious. And remember, being rebellious is all about Saturn again in Aquarius, because Aquarius is the zodiac sign where it's dealing with you know, changing, innovating, creating. That is what Aquarius is all about, the new order. You might have a free spirit, you might be a little hot-tempered, but this, you know, you need to be charming. You need to take a breath, understand your logic and reason that has come through with Saturn in Aquarius. Look at the lessons learned for you to reach here, and then plan. And then we had the Princess of Swords, which just jumped out. And the Princess of Swords is all about delayed news, you know, patience needed, planning, vigilance, fairness, think before you speak, don't get drawn into arguments, you know, quick-witted, communication, using your head. This is what the Princess of Swords is adding to the messages that are coming through here. So it tells you, yes, you know, somebody is going to come to you with material gains, with putting you on a path that will bring abundance. but you are going to be battle weary. You are going to rethink, or should rethink, why you want to be there, because you have felt left out, and probably that feeling of abandonment or isolation is feeding into your despair and shame and regret that may come by you taking certain actions and not others. The star and the world is there telling you that yes, you have hope and inspiration, but you have to do things in a particular way to get that abundance, to get that that material gain, that asset that you're looking for. So look at the matters, and the Page of Swords tells you about the contracts and the conflicts, and that kind of that kind of issue that is going to come up to you. And then we have the energies, and one of the energy is the quest, and the quest is all about a journey to get answers and courage to go on that journey. So is it that you have to go on the journey alone, or is it that the group, you are going to be embraced by this group to take you on this journey? And what is the journey that you are going to run through? And this journey is through communication. And remember, Mercury is combust and retrograde right now. This is why, whatever you hear or being advised upon right now may not be the answers that you are looking for, because being combust and retrograde, Mercury is going to give you mistakes and misunderstandings and problems. So this is the wisdom card here, telling you, kind of rethink the advice that you are going to get for this period beginning May 21st to June 3rd. And then we have Venus. We've been through Venus. Venus is in Pisces with Jupiter and Mars with Neptune. And again, Venus is fast approaching the Gandanta point where you have knots that you have to unravel. So again, proceed with caution. Venus is telling you he wants to give you all. He wants to give you all the luxuries that you want. Meet the needs of your pleasures, of your sexuality. But proceed with caution, because right now he is approaching that Gandanta zone. And then we have the 10th house. So duties and responsibilities, your Dharma Trikona. You want to become a person of power and status. But how are you going to gain it? Are you going to gain it through the devil? Are you going to be gaining it through being tunnel vision? No, I'm not saying that, material gains is not nice. It is. Everybody loves money. Everybody loves wealth. But you have to think about if that is the right journey for you through the quest. That is all this 10th house is telling you, that, be responsible. Yes, your power and status, your career, your destiny falls in this period, and probably the choices you make will have you regretting it or enjoying it in the long run in the 10th house. And then we have the element of water, and water tells you it's all about your emotions, and we explored the emotional strength of this period for you through the World card. And the World card is all about having it all, having things that you want, your dreams, but you are very emotional about it. And it's probably because you were never part again of the clique, but you have now come into it, and you have to think that, okay, this was my dream, to be part of this group, or to be part of the social structure or the social network. But is that really the right decision for me? Have I not gained anything? Do I need to depend on people? Am I going to give away my power of choice to someone? Because that is what you're doing. That's the premise of the devil. You're giving away your power of choice. And remember, the Hierophant is also telling you there are consequences to you giving away your power of choice. So you might be a little emotional about a decision that you feel you had to make because you want an into a group. But is that the correct choice for you? Is that the correct choice for you, or is Saturn telling you still take it slow and steady? And then we have the deity Lord Ardhana Rishwar, who is the divine Andra, and this is an avatar of Lord Shiva and his wife Parvati, where it's half man and half woman. And it's telling us that the story behind this is that Goddess Parvati wanted to understand what what happens with Lord Shiva when he meditates, when he's in that position that, you know, he sits and folds himself and his inner thoughts, and Lord Shiva wanted to give the understanding to Goddess Parvati, so he had to give up part of himself to accept Parvati in his body, in his life, in his physical being, for him to become this Lord, this half man and half woman. So this Lord, this deity is telling you that you have to let go of something. You probably had a dream, like the Nine of Cups tells you. You have probably had a wish, but you are now recognizing that that wish is not really what you want. You have to give up something to gain something. And do you want that unity? Do you want that wholeness? Do you want that fulfillment of the world? But you could only get it if you let go of something. And what it is you have to let go, you would understand yourself what you may have to let go. It might be a dream, it might be a wish, it might be becoming part of a group or a social order, but that based on your natal chart and the strength of these grahas and planets in the natal chart. So this is your tarot reading and transit reading for the period beginning May 21st to June 3rd. I have left this slide up in my videos mainly for my new subscribers or persons who are not aware of some terminology that we use in Vedic astrology, and where how we divide the sky into the signs, the rasis, the nakshatras, the stars and the padas. You know, it may not be terms that you are aware of or that you have used on a day-to-day basis, and this is just giving you a heads up and to give you an understanding of what we mean, or what I mean as astrology, when I talk about the nakshatras and the padas and the placement of these nakshatras and stars and what it means for your kundali. So join me on this journey and request your report or your kundali so that you can understand what the stars and the universe have in store for you. Before I close off on this video on the transit series, I ask that you share, sign up, subscribe to my zidamastrology.com. You can send me a message at zida55@outlook.com. Here you are going to get your tarot spreads, your runes, your chakras, your crystals. You are going to get your patra readings and tarot spreads. Bhagwan has once again given me the knowledge and the resources to bring these messages to you. I hope, like Mercury, it was not garbled or miscommunicated. Should you not understand anything, I ask that you drop me a line at zida55@outlook.com so that I can have a conversation or dialogue with you. I thank you for listening, and I hope something new and exciting enters your thoughts and enables your dream. Be safe, happy and healthy until we meet again. See you next time. Bye.